Imagine heavily armed deputies kicking down a door to execute a high-stakes raid. Now imagine the target of that raid responding by putting on a flashy suit and singing a catchy song about lemon pound cake. That is exactly what happened to Joseph Foreman, better known as the Y2K-era rapper Afroman. Known almost entirely for his 2001 hit Because I Got High, Foreman suddenly found himself staring down a $3.9 million lawsuit brought by 7 active-duty police officers. This bizarre clash is a massive stress test for the First Amendment. It asks exactly where the line is between state power and a citizen's right to mock it in the digital age. The saga started in 2022, when deputies descended on Foreman's home at night. They were acting on severe allegations, searching the property for evidence of drug trafficking and kidnapping. But the raid was a total bust. They didn't find any kidnapping victims. In fact, they didn't find much of anything at all. Foreman was completely cleared of all charges. What they did leave behind was a mess. Foreman came home to a busted front door, a wrecked gate, and, according to him, about $400 in missing cash. When he asked the county to cover the property damage, they refused. Out of pocket and out of traditional legal options, Foreman realized the raid had accidentally given him something incredibly valuable: hours of raw home security footage of the state tearing through his house. He decided to treat the situation like a sport. To pay for the repairs, he went into the studio and recorded a new album, featuring tracks with highly specific titles like Will You Help Me Repair My Door? The music videos for these tracks didn't use actors or high-budget sets. They used the actual security feeds of the deputies executing the warrant inside his home. The footage showed officers casually wandering his kitchen, with one deputy seemingly captivated by a pastry sitting on the counter. Foreman isolated this exact moment to create the breakout hit of the album, an ode called Lemon Pound Cake. By turning his security tapes into music videos, Foreman flipped the script. Instead of the police surveilling the citizen was broadcasting the police's bumbling mistakes to the entire internet and monetizing it to pay for his broken door. The deputies did not find this funny. 7 of them sued him for $3.9 million, arguing the viral tracks caused them severe emotional distress, triggered real-world threats, and damaged their personal lives. To legally force the videos offline, their lawyers threw a barrage of civil claims at Foreman, specifically citing invasion of privacy, false light, and unauthorized commercial use of likeness. This document contains the ultimate defense against those specific civil claims in the American legal system, the First Amendment. This diagram illustrates how the invasion of privacy charge falls apart. When armed deputies cross the threshold to execute a warrant, they enter a public duty zone, forfeiting privacy. As the diagram shifts, raw footage deflects defamation claims. You cannot claim false misrepresentation when someone simply presses play on reality. As for the commercial likeness claim, the idea that he was unfairly profiting off their faces by selling merchandise, courts consistently rule that parodic commentary on public officials outweighs an officer's desire to control their image. When you strip away the heavy legal jargon, the lawsuit was essentially an attempt to use the courts to make it illegal to embarrass the police. The trial itself was incredibly surreal. You had an active-duty deputy crying on the stand, while the court played a comedic rap track analyzing her deep voice, treating an internet diss track as formal state evidence. Ultimately, the jury and the judge sided entirely with Foreman. He was cleared of all defamation claims, with the court citing his speech as completely constitutionally protected. Foreman walked out of the courtroom wearing a custom, glittering suit designed to symbolize hope and the American dream, celebrating a total legal victory for his lyrics. By trying to bankrupt the man who made fun of them, the deputies accidentally handed him a permanent, legally codified victory. It is a textbook example of the Streisand Effect. The Streisand Effect is a phenomenon where the very act of trying to hide or censor a piece of information ends up amplifying it to a massive audience. Suing to suppress the embarrassment only made it national news. Ubiquitous home security cameras have turned surveillance, the act of recording the authorities, into a widespread and legally protected defense mechanism for the average citizen. Even when traditional systems of accountability fail to fix a broken door, the First Amendment provides an incredibly potent tool for a citizen to push back against state overreach. The police wanted $3.9 million to stop a joke. Instead, they proved that in the United States, laughing at the government is a legally protected art form.